Now, the next thing we're going to look at is how to add text into the timeline and then be able to preview it in the canvas and format it using the different text formats that we have in Final Cut. So to start with, all you need to do is to identify the place where you want to add the text, and you can just come all the way to titles and generators slide bar over here. You can see a bunch of different titles. You have from 3D to 3D cinematic. You can see them as you hover over. You'll be able to see the preview on the main preview windows. Okay, you can see the preview as you just hover over it. Okay, so you just be able to have an idea of what you are doing. This is 360 title, this is 360, this is 360, and this is built in, built out, in and out. Okay, you can be able to preview and see how it comes in and how it goes out. This is bumper opener. So as you hover over it, you'll be able to see the different features that it's likely to bring in terms of this. When you are trying to have a list of something, you'll be able to list them accordingly based on the subtitle that you have. Then you have credits. You want to give credits to someone somewhere, you just be able to put their name and the description and you just attach it. So you can have lower thirds as well. I have a bunch of interesting ones over here. You just put in your name and the description. Okay, name and description. You can just see it very fantastically. So all you need to do is just to drag and drop. Okay, just to drag and drop. So if you want to go for simple titles, or if you have a specific title or text that you have in mind you want to go for, you can just easily go ahead and drag and drop that feature into your canvas, into the timeline. So for example, let's say we go with simple titles, and then maybe we can have something like this 3D, basic 3D. Okay, so you can just select it, drag it, and then drop it maybe at this intro point. You can just drop it, and then you can use the command plus the plus sign to zoom in and out to see in details of what you have. So once you drag and drop, you will be able to, you can come to the edges and you can extend the length, or you can shorten it from the edges to specifically define where you want the text to appear in your video. Okay, so you'll be able to, once you bring it in, you can select it and you have the properties over here, the basic properties that you need, you will have them. So let's say right now we can hide all, so we can just be showing them one after the other. So right now you have the normal, this is the normal text. Okay, this is normal. Once you click on this, you will be able to have the 2D effects, 2D styles. You can see different kind of styles, but once you take the playhead to that particular location, that's when you will be able to see the changes that you have. So for example, now the text is basic 3D. You can see it over here, basic 3D, but you can change it if you so wish. For example, you can say welcome to my channel. All right, so you can see welcome to my channel, and then you can check on the different style, 2D style. You can make it bold, and you can make it something like this. This is preset template. You can check and make it offset if you want it to be something like this, and you can see it has changed it to yellow, and that effect has taken effect. So you can see you can change it to this, any setting of your choice. You can change it to this. I think I kind of like this, and then you can go on your own to check out the 3D styles. You can have 3D styles also. This blue plastic is good. You can have basic 3D. You can check around and just put in any one of your choice. I kind of don't like this, so you can just check, come back here, and then maybe you go basic 3D. I think this is good. Then you can maybe select the 2D effect and go with this condensed. I kind of like it. Down here you can have the text. You can put in any text of your choice, and then you have the basic editing features. You can click on show here to be able to show the basic editing features, such as the font style. You can see this is condensed, that we've specified at the top. You can check on any, and as you hover over, you'll be able to see the fonts changing on the text that you've inputted. Once you reach a particular one that you are interested in, you can just hit on it and it's going to take it up. You can see other features like the sizing. You can play around with the sizing. You can increase or decrease the size of the text accordingly as you wish. And if you want to go back at any given point to the default setting, you can always hit on this arrow and it's going to take it back to the default setting. Okay, and I think I kind of like it to increase this much in size. And then you can have the alignment. You can align left, right, center, and all that. You can put in the alignment and you can even justify accordingly. You have vertical alignment, you have line spacing. You can be able to increase or decrease the line spacing in case when you have more than one line of text and you have tracking issues. You can do all that. You can increase the baseline. You can move it to the top or to the bottom accordingly, or you can undo or bring it back to the default. And you can force the letters to go all caps, just like so. Everything now goes back to capital letter, and then, or you can make it all small letters. And then you can play around with the cap size also. You can make it smaller or you can make them bigger accordingly. So just feel free to give it a try and see what you can do. And then in terms of position, you can play around with the X, Y, and Z direction. You can see as you just select, you can move it to the right, to the left. This is on the X axis. You can do the same on the Y axis. You can move it top, up, or bottom, okay, up or down, just like so. You can play around with it until you are certain in the position. And then in the Z direction also, you can play around with it accordingly. And in each case, you can always hit on the arrow to go back to the default setting. And then you have rotation. You can go ahead and rotate the image, the text accordingly. If you want it to increase, to rotate, just like so. You can play around with the rotation on the X axis. You can do the same playing with the rotation on the Y axis, and then you can play around with the same rotation also on the Z axis if you so wish. So it's something very, very nice and interesting because you have all the access to all the basic features that you need to carry out most of this basic editing. Then you have the scaling. You can scale to the X axis, okay, and you can scale to the Y axis as well to make it a bit bigger, larger, and then you can scale to the Z axis as well, make it a bit bigger. So you can hide on these, the basic ones, and you can go to 3D effect and show this. You can enable the 3D effects, and then you'll be able to have the depth of the text. You can increase or decrease the depth accordingly, and then depth of direction. You can do centered or you can do forward, backward. You can do all that. The weight of the text you can increase or decrease, just like so. Make it thinner or make it thicker accordingly. Okay, then you have the front edge, you have the front edge size. You can do all sort of things. Then you can come to lighting. As you finish with the 3D, you can disable it or you can hide it. You can check the lightning. You can increase the lighting intensity or decrease it accordingly. Okay, so you can check the lighting style and make it standard. Right now it's in standard. You can make it backlit or above or thereabout. You can just go ahead and play around with all this. Then we have stealth shadow. You can show it and then be able to see opacity. You can increase the opacity or decrease accordingly. And then the softness of the edges, you can increase or decrease accordingly. Because we are using white color, that's why you don't see most of it. Then you have the environment. You'll be able to check out the different rotation, contrast, saturation, and all that from here of all your text. And then you have the material. In the material, that's when you change the actual color of the text. So let's say you're in materials over here and you can see the basic things. You make it shiny, or you can make it matte, or you make it textured. Okay, you can make it textured if you want, but I think shiny is doing a lot of a good job. And then you can check the coloration. You can change the coloration. You can just hit and you'll be able to navigate around to change the color accordingly. As you move around, you can see the color is changing on the canvas. Yeah, very nicely done. So as you hover over, you'll be able to check on the best color that suits you and that you're interested in putting. Then we have the glow effect. You can show the glow effect and be able to see you can glow with this color, yellow color, or you can glow with any other color of your choice. Okay, and you can see it's showing on the main text. You can play around with the opacity from here as well in terms of the glow effect, the radius nature, and the blurry nature. And on each case, you can either hit on this to go back to the default, or you can individually restore back to the default. And then you can have drop shadows. If you want to drop a shadow, you can show the details. You can see right now the shadow is black. You can change it to any color of your choice. You can select and then move around. For example, you can move around here and you'll be able to have the different color of your choice. And then you have the opacity, the blurry nature of the drop shadow. You can edit all these to your taste. And then the distance. You can see the shadow, and then you can play around with the coloration from here. Okay, and then you'll be able to see the actual drop in shadow. So you can reduce it, make it smaller, just to be able to be visible. You can change the angle of the shadow. You can make it the other way instead of this way. You can change it accordingly. So these are the very basic things you need to understand when it comes to text adding text in Final Cut. It's rich with different kind of features, different kind of even presets that you can easily add, and you can play around to experience and like it. So let's say we put in this text and you can just play it. Let's see, we play it. And then it goes out. So that's kind of perfect. And you can do the same thing with different kind of text like I've explained. So just feel free to go on to try different ones and see the one that fits your content and can send in the message that you want and give the professionalism that you want. But for this is how to give the basic editing, put in the basic properties to make it look professional. So that does it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.